This is way too much reading. How many pages now? July 6, 3:45 p.m. On top of the tall peak of Wretched Minor is where the army built its observation post. Dad says it's a shame. He believes the Caribs built their own observatory here, but all evidence of it was destroyed. He knows because the army photographed and stored what they found here, and Dad got to see their records. They didn't do a good job by archaeology standards, but he said it was amazing they recorded any of it at all for being soldiers in the middle of the war. Dad thinks a lot of evidence was already destroyed by pirates in the 17th century. They set up a base and used its peak as their own lookout. That was good luck, because the pirates also wrote about their time here, and much of this survived in the lockboxes and glass bottles in the army found. Dad says it's hard to learn about Caribs directly because they didn't leave much behind. They can endure for centuries. Even though the pirates destroyed so much, their logbooks preserve more information about the Caribs for Dad than if they have never come. The door to the army observatory can only be locked from the inside, so the door was left unlocked when the army abandoned the islands after the war. Inside, the structure has 3 floors, connected with ladders going up through trapdoors. Almost everything has been stripped out, except for some tables and chairs. The top floor has 2 different exits leading outside. One of them is through a lookout room leading to another rotating bridge, which seemed to connect to the other exit. And that seems strange. It might be just to give soldiers access to the 2 zip lines connecting to the other 2 pieces of Wretched Minor. And Sid says he wants to fix the zip lines, but Mom says later the bridges have to come first. The best part is we get to sleep out here tonight. July 6, 8:45 p.m. I told Dad I couldn't think of a direct way to prove the Earth was round. He said, a dinner plate is round, but flat. You mean round like a ball, and so is sphere. He hadn't talked about this difference before then. He pointed to the quarter moon and said it looked around, but was it a disc or a sphere? I said it looked like a sphere, but I couldn't prove it. And he said that was reasonable, and that ancient people worked it out with observations over longer periods than just looking up in the sky one night, watching the moon go through phases from a waxing, glowing crescent up to a full moon, and then back to the waning, shrinking crescent. The ancient Greek philosopher Parmenides noticed a pattern. The bright part of the moon was always in the direction of the sun. You can see this best during the day when the moon is a crescent, and the lead side is always on the side of the nearby sun. What caused this pattern? This explanation Parmenides came up with is the moon didn't cast its own light. It just reflected sunlight, and that's why the bright part always faces the sun. I said there's even more evidence. The sun is traveling in empty space on the other side of the Earth at night. If the sun were hidden inside a boat or a dragon, its light couldn't shine on the moon. Dad agreed. He also added that one could easily prove the moon had to be a sphere. He pointed up at the quarter moon above and said there was no way you could shine a light on a flat disk and have it look like that. And that was hard to wrap my head around. Even if you shone the light at the right angle, was there no way to light up on the crescent part of the disk? Seriously, Dad said the best way to prove it was to try it. So if I have time tomorrow, I will construct a physical model and see. July 7th, I twisted my ankle helping fix the lower bridge. Rula may carry me up into the bunker and see got some eyes from the boat. Mom says it's pretty bad and I need to take it easy. Probably for days. Now I'm stuck here with an ice pack. Mom's sitting Willamette back fixing the bridge, and Dad's working here in the bunker, carefully photographing and documenting everything, looking for anything else left behind at night that might tell him something about the Caribs or the pirates. It doesn't seem like there's much around, though. I think he just doesn't want me to be alone up here. I got out my project supplies and made models to test what Dad and I talked about last night. I made 2 moons, a flat disc from a old round piece of plywood, and a sphere one out of a styrofoam ball. My project supplies are half stuff you get from a craft store and half salvage from a junkyard near my house, including a bunch of these cool crank wheels that make skiers. And sliders go back and forth. I mounted a light on the track to act like the sun between the 2 moons so I could crank it forward. and backwards. I could have just held the models up to the light, but I wanted to be precise. The spherical moon shows all the different phases the real moon does, but this moon is only ever completely dark or completely lit, with no phases in between. This proves it. The real moon has to be a sphere. He is one smart kid, guys. Not only that, but I realized the only way to get crescent or quarter moons, like we're having at night, now is for the sun to be farther away than the moon. It is still at least an hour till dinner time. I don't think anyone will come back till then. In the meantime, I think I'll paint these models to look like the real moon. Maybe I can bring it to school next year for extra credit. I show everyone my model, especially the setting where the sun's light barely hits the flat moon, but still lights it all uniformly, proving that phases are only possible if the moon is a sphere. But I didn't see how this helped prove the Earth was a sphere too. I asked Dad, but instead of answering, he told us how the pirates conquered the Caribs on the Wretched Islands. The pirates, even with guns, couldn't invade because rope bridges made them vulnerable. But they had something better than guns. They had knowledge. According to their astronomical navigation charts, a lunar eclipse was due November 6, 1672. And the pirates told the Caribs that if they weren't welcome, the moon god would get angry and rise dark and red. Christopher Columbus tricked a different tribe in the Caribbean this way long before, and they hoped it would work for them too. The Caribs didn't believe the pirates, but when they came, the moon rose dark and red. All the Caribs panicked except for one. The Carib astrologer said it has nothing to do with the pirates. The moon was just in the Earth's shadow and would soon emerge. The Carib astrologer explained how moon phases show the moon doesn't make light, it just reflects sunlight. And how the moon must be a sphere to have phases, and the crescent moon is only possible if the sun is farther away. And with the moon and sun on similar paths, the moon can sometimes block the sun. Why else would solar eclipses happen only during the new moon? And when the sun is on the other side, the Earth can get between the sun and the moon. And its shadow would fall on the moon. Why else would lunar eclipses only happen during the full moon? The Carib astrologer said that was what's happening and would be over soon if they waited. But the Caribs were too afraid and didn't believe their own astrologer. As the night continued and the moon stayed dark red, they gave in. Months later, the Wretched Islands were a thriving pirate base with no free Carib people living there anymore. Wow, so they all left because of the moon. And that's how they were driven away. Okay, so that's the model the kid built, guys. It's right here. Alright, can we keep going? So the flat moon on the left, and the sphere on the right. Ah, there we go. Block this constellation with the sun upstairs. Okay. It's like two men holding hands, two humans holding hands. Block this constellation. Got it. Hey Chris, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the stream. Now, can we still... Wait. There is a hatch over here, guys. Oh my god, more journal entries. Are you kidding me? This game is all about reading journals. It's all about reading journals. Can we go up first? The constellations. And the sun is right here. Laurie Baldwin, welcome to the stream. Yeah, all these readings almost scare everyone away. But we do need to read them out. Because they are clues to the puzzles. That's pretty obvious. July 8th, 9 PM. Today was a busy day. Mom and Dad decided to make bunker our base instead of the boat. Everyone but me spent the whole day making it secure. I don't know why they worry about security. There's no one around and it's illegal for anyone to be. The door to the outside has to be a big deadbolt, but Mom wanted to wait in for emergency if someone inside needed help. Mom said Mom used steel plates left over from the army and built a big box like a combination lock. Where you had to line up slots in 5 hidden plates to slide the interior deadbolt across. She wrote numbers on the plates that you can see through holes in the front. She said the combination to be a combination of all our birthdays. But Sid and I have already decided we are going to change it. We might even put something different instead of numbers, like pictures for fun. Inside, the ladder up from the entrance is permanent. But the 2 leading to the upper floors are retractable. They drop with a lever. To also make the bunker extra safe, Mom blocked the lever to the top floor with another makeshift combination lock, but 4 separate ones since that were easier to make with the parts she found lying around. And she put letters on each of the 4 wheels, and the combination could be a word. But Sid and I are going to change this too in the pictures as soon as we decided what to use. So this is most likely going to be our next puzzle. Yeah, the journal entry is always ahead. 1 step. On the top floor, opening the 2 exits is done with a heavy crank that actually turns 2 wooden discs. As tall as the room until the doorway holes appear so you can leave. They were set so you could only open one at a time. For some reason, Mom said was probably army logic. She says it would not be too hard to change, but there's no reason to. They're not worried about this door since no one can enter from the outside up here anyway. July 9th, 3:15 p.m. Sid and Guillaume carry all my art and craft supplies up from the boat. It took them a lot of trips, but they did. I checked out the weird mechanisms on the middle of the top floors. The middle floor has 2 particular nails in the center of the room. With the chair in the middle, in the front of the chair is a panel, and a crank that rotates the chair and also can move vertical posts around the tracks. If you throw switches on the panel to lock the post to the chair, it is strange how it works. The crank always rotates the chair, but it only moves a post if you throw a lever for the post, while it's in front of the chair. Maybe it was some kind of a map room. As I sat in the chair and looked around, thinking about the eclipse story that told last night, it occurred to me that I could be the Earth in the chair, and the near track could be the moon, and the far track could be the sun. The sun doesn't go around the Earth, of course, but it looks like it does. When I had all my supplies, I asked Sid to help me build a model. For fun, I blew up balloons and then used paper and glue to make big paper mache spheres. A smaller one I painted like the moon, and a bigger one I painted yellow to make the sun, and put them on top of the post on the rails, and Sid wired a light inside the yellow sphere so the sun could shine. Now we can sit in the chair and move the sun and moon, and when the moon gets in between, it eclipses the sun. You can also move the moon around and see all its faces from the sunlight shining on it. It gave Sid an idea of the combination lock, the dials locking the dropped ladder to the top floor. He said we should make them star constellations. Mom told Sid there are 88 constellations, but throughout the year, the sun and moon only pass through 12 of them, called the zodiac. So I painted the 12 zodiac constellations around the room, and the combination to drop the ladder is now the constellations that are blocked by the moon in each room, in each moon phase shown on the dials. The key you need to work it all out is which constellation is blocked by the sun. And if the sun isn't in the right place, the moon phases won't block the right constellations to open the lock. I'm not going to write here what constellation the sun should be in, though. That would be secure. And we just saw from the note in the floor below that the one that we need to block is Gemini. Yeah. 2 men holding hands, Gemini, the twins. So that's our clue. Now let's see if I can get this working or not. And you see Gemini right in front of us. So that's the sun. And that's the moon.